Well, here we are at Knockhill. You've got a very pink hat on.
I do. Do you like it? £18 this cost.
I like Knockhill hats. I wouldn't have chosen that one, but you're pulling it off.
Yeah, well, this is my home.
Yeah.
Anyway, I've sat you down here because something quite cataclysmic has happened.
Has it?
Top Gear and the Grand Tour have simultaneously stopped, leaving a huge hole in car media right now.
Have they stopped?
Yes.
Really?
Well,
Define stopped.
Define stopped. Grand Tour has stopped with Clarkson, Hammond and May.
Yeah.
But Amazon has said that they will bring back the Grand Tour with 3 new presenters, and then Top Gear have said that Top Gear has stopped indefinitely. So I don't know what you kind of look into that one, but that's the main focus of today. Grand Tour, 3 new presenters. Who would you stick in front of the camera to be the next Grand Tour trio?
Big booties to fill.
That you argue it's a poisoned chalice?
Well, that's happened once already, hasn't it? So
Yes.
you had to, when they left Top Gear, you had to have new people come in, and that turned out to be quite a, tumultuous time. And anyone stepping in that thinks they can become another Clarkson is, deluding themselves.
Do you think the Grand Tour should learn from the BBC then, and should basically rebrand and start fresh?
I'm sure that they are looking at that history and sort of quaking in their boots about how they go about it. But I agree, you want to try and start fresh if you can. I think Clarkson said as much. They have to start with 3 complete unknowns. But he wasn't a complete unknown when they started. Richard and James kind of shot out of nowhere a little bit. They had a lot of experience in the automotive industry, and they were experts in their own way from journalism.
So do you agree with Clarkson? Do you think it should be 3 complete unknowns, fresh faces, people that no one knows at all, and just have a crack?
It's trying to find that magic sauce. People who are entertaining, knowledgeable, and have got skill set. I think you want some skill. You want to see something on camera that you can really believe in and invest in. My favourite Top Gear shows, for what it's worth of what I think, when each presenter took you out on a journey. And like famously, I remember James May, my favourite one of his, he went to NASA. I thought that was great. I think one of Jeremy's actually was not a Top Gear programme. He went off and did something about the VC from Francie's dad, who was awarded the Victoria Cross at Arnhem.
Oh yes, I've seen that. That's a cool
really
one.
Brilliant. They can describe a landscape and a world, in a brilliant way. Clarkson's Farm, another one, absolutely classic. So finding someone who can be a real storyteller. Now that could be someone new, or it could be someone established, or someone controversial. You think who are the big entertainers? Howard Stern, Joe Rogan. Those are big personalities that could take a show like that and lead from the front.
Yeah, I guess. I feel the second you put 3 people on screen with anything to do with cars, you're kind of you're trying to force that template. I wonder whether it's set, so you're saying like the sort of individual films that the guys went off and did were your favourite. I'm wondering whether they depart from the whole trio aspect and have it more as, I guess you would call it, it's a horrible phrase, a motoring magazine show, where it is, so-and-so's part, so-and-so's part, and so-and-so's part, and they kind of stay separate. Maybe with a studio to connect them, but you keep it that way.
Yeah, I like that idea. That was the template they were rebuilding during the Chris Evans era of Top Gear, the reboot. I actually did a screen test for that.
So this is interesting. So you were actually part of the post-Clarkson, Hammond and May Top Gear situation.
Yeah, I was booked from that. So I did a screen test. I was so nervous going around Dunsfold. I think I did a power test in a Mercedes. So I was sliding it around and talking about that, and then did a review of, I think it was just a walkabout of a VW Golf in Sirocco. Okay. And
it was the crew that you were used to? It was like the Top
familiar
Gear
faces, but you're on the other end of the lens now.
That must have been nerve-wracking.
No helmet. I was so nervous, I actually went the wrong way on the way to Dunsfold, which you'd think we programmed to do. Yeah. So, but actually, despite all that, really enjoyed it, and was offered to go and do 4 months of filming. So I was due to leave straight after Christmas to go to New Zealand and start doing all kinds of crazy stuff, powerboat racing and swamp buggy racing and things like this. So in the end, there was a bit of a kerfuffle. That whole era was a bit of a confused mess. The exec producer quit, and she was the one that had hired me. And my bit just fell apart. They didn't go and film it.
And so, did you know who you would have been with? Would you have been with Chris Evans, Eddie Jordan, that sort of initial group?
I think the plan was to do a load of stuff with Sabine Schmidt, which would have been great fun, because she's game, it was great fun, and that would have been a fabulous thing to do. But it didn't work out. So, but to your point, it was a bit like it was going to be Avengers Assemble, almost like Marvel Universe, right? Let's go and get experts from different parts of walks of life, different interests in motoring, whatever, and use them for their specialties, basically.
Well, I guess when you think back, the BBC went about it with like a complete sort of cold call audition process. They just said, right, submit, I think it was a 1 minute, was it even that, maybe 30-second clip, and we'll pick someone out. And I think Rory Reid was the kind of only person that actually managed to use that process to get in. But yeah.
I'm sure there was many videos that were sent in.
Absolutely.
But yeah, you're right, Rory got picked up from that. So that's pretty cool from, you know, no background with TV.
Okay, so let's say your phone rings, unknown number, you pick it up, and
Never
it's
pick up an unknown.
one of, well, maybe you should, because it might be a producer
Or Mike
for the
Fernie.
future Grand Tour.
Like,
I do sometimes ignore you. I try not to ignore your calls,
Yeah.
but sometimes I'm just like, do you know what, BC, I'll leave you a couple of hours. Let's say a producer phones you up and says, Ben, I want you to be number 1, 2, or 3 within my trio. How do you fancy it?
massive check.
Here's the check.
Okay.
It's not quite Clarkson-esque, but it's, you know, higher than probably what the Stig was on.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, very good question. Yes, it seems like the automatic thing to do, but if you ask our other YouTube brethren, would you take the Top Gear job if it came up? The vast majority of them say no. Now, I think maybe you're slightly different because you've got that TV experience and you clearly enjoyed those days, so you kind of got that in your head. But to the other guys, you're just joining this like essentially big lump, slow moving television show versus just thinking of a day, shall we go do a fun cheap car challenge and just gonna go do it. So this, do you very much sit on the other side of the fence being like, no, TV is still king?
I think what's cool there is it's streaming, it's Amazon, they've got big budgets, they can do cool stuff. Well, we were talking, weren't we, about our favourite segments from Top Gear. We share one, which is the rocket launch, the space shuttle.
Oh my God.
With the Reliant Robin. And you know, I just loved that. And I loved that I got to meet the Rocketeers when we went to the Winter Olympics and to get an idea of what went on with that. But that was hugely expensive. It was a 6-figure sum to get that thing to go. That could only come from a big budget show.
Yep.
Now, I would like to think that DRIVETRIBE can muster some budgets to go and do some stuff like that and put you in it, actually.
Well,
It'd be quite
we'll
fun.
reach orbit. We'll actually do it properly.
Put you up, see if that works out.
Yeah.
I'll try and land you, remote control. I'm sure you'd be good with that. So the scale of what you can do is really big, and that's where there's an amazing opportunity for whoever gets into that. But bigger isn't always better. So being really niche and focused, small teams, that's where Top Gear I thought was at its strongest. Was the early days. Andy Willman, who's the brains and exec producer behind that format and assembling that small team. He says that the peak years were up until 2008.
I wonder whether Willman will stay involved. Do you think he will? Or do you think with the 3 going, he goes with them?
I don't know. I don't know what they're up to. There's I know that I think a lot of the production team from Top Gear has gone to Grand Tour, which is not a big surprise. And there's the camera teams, they've been floating between the 2 shows for a long time, and you kind of get that same feeling, that look and vibe. The vignette, beautifully shot, the high quality. That's because it's pretty much the same camera teams have gone through the entire journey, so they've been there throughout.
You been offered the job?
Couldn't tell you.
Have you just been chatting to me this whole time and actually in your back pocket you've got an email that is saying, Ben, we'll see you at first day of filming, couple of weeks time, see you there?
I can't tell you. Couldn't tell you. As in, because I haven't received anything, so no.
Okay, but you would take it if it came?
I don't know. It depends what you're going to be doing. If it's to get run over by JCB with Chris Harris at the wheel, I'd probably say no. But if it's a great opportunity to go and do something you haven't done and a new challenge, then that will be it's an amazing opportunity for anybody.
Okay, next scenario. You get given the gig. Which 2 are coming with you?
Do you want to go?
I'd love to.
Would you be run over by a JCB?
If there was a little ramp so it just skimmed over me, yeah.
Well, okay, so this is like dream cloud time.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
Don't feel you need to include me, by the way.
If the sky is the limit, you've got to say, let's get Joe Rogan in. Get him behind the wheel.
Yeah.
I would love to see him driving.
He knows his cars. He's
I
into
think
his
he
cars.
does. He's got a sim, so he's been practicing.
Yeah.
So Rogan, let's do this. Let's get you behind the wheel. Let's go make some TV history. All right. So we've got Rogan on board, and then you've got to have someone punchy.
Philip Schofield?
It wasn't
No,
first on my mind
you
there.
didn't. No, maybe not. Piers Morgan.
No.
No, of course not. From my perspective, and I don't think this would actually happen to you, but the amount of hate that the next trio will almost certainly get. Like Chris Harris has been quite open with the amount of therapy he's had to go through by essentially being seen to be replacing Clarkson on Top Gear. The next trio, unless it is somehow picked perfectly and manages to, skirt past it, they're going to get such a huge amount of abuse from some of the hardcore audience.
I mean, nobody should be hating anyone. I think just don't look at the comments, just crack on. You got to just go for it. It's none of these programs take a lot of work. People are doing their best, and if you don't like it, then keep watching the reruns. Otherwise, suck it up.
Okay, well, I wish you luck, because I feel like you've got a chance.
I don't think so.
Not to seem condescending, I genuinely think you've got a shot at this one.
Well, I doubt it, because I'm probably seen as too old school and been there, done that. Besides the fact, YouTube is a great opportunity. Here with Drive Tribe, we're doing it. We're keeping it real.
Exactly.
And Ben Collins Drives, check it out. Awesome channel.
Bloody hell. Yes, we're here at Knockhill because we've just done a road trip here, and then we've done some very cool filming with MG. So there's some exciting films to come. So yeah, maybe YouTube is the answer.
I think so.
Do you want this? This will warm you up.
You had to put it in, didn't you?
Energy.
Can you imagine
I've
something
never
that's
seen
got
this before.
more sugar content than the original Iron Brew?
Yeah.
It's that.
Should we do a little taste test? I'll pour it in your mouth. Yeah, I thought that would stop this. Cut.